everyone. It's Dr. Michael Suzanne Parsons, founder of the Natural Path Health Center and creator of Detox Done Right. I want to first thank you and welcome you to our 4-part video training series where we're going to talk all about toxicity and how do you do a cleanse in a safe and healthy way. But first I want you to picture this. You wake up in the morning before your alarm goes off. You roll out of bed. You start your day, you put your makeup on, and you think, man, my skin is looking good. You go through the day, everything is running smoothly, but even if it's not, you get those curveballs thrown at you, bam, you hit those out of the park. They don't trip you up. You've got good energy, you are productive, you're creative, things are just so organized because you were prepared for the day. You get home at night and you actually have energy to cook dinner. Or maybe you say, honey, let's go out on the town. What? That's not a typical day for you? Oh, well, maybe this is more like your day. You hear your alarm go off, you're hitting it a couple times, you finally roll out of bed, you're tired, and now you realize, oh crud, I'm late. Then you go, run, run, hurry, hurry. You're snapping at everyone. People can't get out of your way fast enough on the road. You realize, oh my gosh, I didn't get all of these things done the day before because I was tired. You're skipping meals because you don't have the time. You've trashed your appetite. It's gone. And then you're reaching for fast food to get you through lunch. As you go through the afternoon, you keep getting these curveballs thrown at you, and all they do is tick you off and stress you out. You're feeling overwhelmed, and now you're starting to hurt. That stomach pain is back, you're stiff, and you're feeling guilty because you didn't have time or the energy to exercise. By the time you get home, your feet are swollen, you don't know what you're eating for dinner, and you're done. You're just exhausted. Is that more like you? Well, if you're saying yes, sign me up because I was in that lifestyle too, and it wasn't that long ago. My whole becoming out of balance as I look back through my personal life actually started with a very clear memory of being a little girl, and I broke one of those mercury thermometers. And I was playing with the mercury on the floor, and I thought it was so cool, and I was probably like 5 or 6 years old. And my mom came in and flipped out. Had a bloody fit, and in my 6-year-old mind I was thinking, what do you know? Little did I know that I was setting myself up for a whole host of health issues that were going to hit me when I was in my 30s and 40s. Fast forward a little bit, I remember as probably in elementary school, standing in the back of my mom's car, putting my face up to the exhaust and breathing it in. I thought that stuff smelled good and I liked, woohoo, how it made me feel. What I didn't realize is all of the chemicals that I was breathing in, that I was actually storing, because those are things we can't get rid of. As I continued to age, I started to have some health issues. I had huge cystic acne on my back, huge, painful. It hurt to lay down on my face, my neck, my chest. I was a big old walking zit mess. It was disgusting. And then as I got pregnant, I had several miscarriages, and my energy started to spiral. I was struggling to get up in the morning. I wasn't sleeping restfully at night. I was starting to have more pain and stiffness. I was so out of balance, literally my brain hurt, and that was different than a headache. So I realized that I had to take action. And because my weight continued to climb, as if I were still pregnant, I didn't know what to do. Here I am, a doctor, I'm a nutritionist, I know how the body works, I know the physiology, I understand the body chemistry, yet my body clearly was out of balance and out of control. So what did I have to do? I had to take a step back and go back into the books and start looking at what was out of balance. Now I know many of you are saying, yep, that's me. I need to know what to do. And I know a lot of us turn to popular things that we find on the internet. But I want to just start by breaking one myth or misconception about some things that a lot of my patients come in and tell me that they're doing. And now I'm going to share this with you so you don't do this. First thing that I want to talk about is the fasting types of cleanses. Now, when you're fasting, and I'm not talking about religious purposes, that's a whole different topic, but if you're fasting because you want to feel better, when you fast, you're essentially just drinking water. You've pulled out all of those foods from your diet and you're focusing just on drinking, hopefully, clean, pure water. Now, let me tell you, that may not be a good thing for you because detoxification is a food-driven system. We get the nutrients from our foods to run our detox factory. And how well we feel or the symptoms we may be getting can often be traced back to how well our detox factory is running. So when we're doing just a water fast, that's depriving our factory. It's like we're shutting down our detox factory and saying, you guys can all go on vacation. We're just going to take a break. But the burden of our toxicity doesn't ever take a break. And we're going to talk more about that in the next video. But for a fasting for cleansing purposes, that's not a healthy thing for you. The second popular thing that a lot of people do are these juice cleanses. Now in these juice cleanses, typically we are taking hopefully organic fruits and vegetables and juicing them and drinking them. And that's pretty much it. You might be increasing your water intake as well. But what happens with that? Well, let's see. When we're doing a juice cleanse, we're putting in beets and carrots and apples, all kinds of sweet, yummy tasting things. And what does your pancreas say? Blech! You're making it work a lot harder because you're making your pancreas squirt out a lot of insulin because all of that juice is a bunch of sugar and you aren't getting the balance of a meal to balance that out. So you're spiking your blood sugar, your insulin's getting squirted out, spiking as well, and you're actually creating potentially not only a blood sugar imbalance, but more inflammation with that on a cellular level. So unless you're adding protein in and you're doing the fiber, which I know a lot of you aren't because that's icky, that's not a safe or healthy way to detoxify. The other thing that's missing is protein. You've got to have protein to let your detox factory work correctly. Now, another type of cleanse is a colon cleanse. And people will often go to do a colonics, they'll do enemas, they might take some herbs that force stuff out of the rectum. That's great, but what do you have to do to get the stuff in the form that it needs to get into the colon in the first place? That's where a lot of people are missing the boat. So yeah, it feels good to dump your load. We all want to poop every day, but if you're not pooping every day, there's a reason why, and part of it could be because your detox factory is offline. So those cleanses are not necessarily fixing the toxicity issue. It's doing one little spot, but not the whole big picture of what is not happening to bind those toxins into a form that you could actually eliminate. The fourth cleanse, if I could just eradicate this from the planet, my job is done. It is the master cleanse. Now this master cleanse, it's sneaky. It has a lot of different aliases. It's known as the master cleanse. It could be the lemonade diet, the maple syrup diet, the cayenne pepper diet, woohoo! Or it's also known as the Beyonce diet. Hey, hey, hey. Now Beyonce is an amazing actress and singer, but I do not consider her a health expert. And even though she's done this cleanse and has been very public about it, I can guarantee you the weight that she dropped came right back on. This is the reason why. This diet essentially is lemon juice, maple syrup, cayenne pepper, and some water. And that's all you do. There's not even any veggies in that. So it's purging your system. Well, yeah, if you're drinking cayenne pepper, wouldn't you be purging too? That's not cleansing you though. That's just forcing stress on your body. And then some people will do an herbal tea or maybe a saltwater drink to really force those intestines to squish stuff out. Well, that would be great if detox was just about pooping, but it's more than that. We need to do more. So when you're doing a master cleanse, you are not mastering anything other than mastering your factory shutdown in your detox factory because you are not giving the body the tools it needs. So why do some people feel better when they do these things? Why is that? Let me tell you. Because you're not eating the crap that you normally do. And a lot of those faux foods, foods that really aren't real food, foods that are from a box, a bag, or a can that have been processed and tinkered with, those aren't real foods. So you've eliminated those, and some of those things you're actually allergic to and you have no idea. Food allergies are sneaky and tricky. So when you start to pull those things out and you throw in veggies, which maybe you don't usually eat because you are anti-veggie, like I used to be, then you actually will feel better because you've reduced a lot of the toxic burden from those processed foods. You've pulled out a lot of potential allergens, and your body's like, whew, I'm not getting those irritants, but now I've got this problem with my detoxification. So you've got to be able to support the detox factory. If you want the factory to work, you've got to give it the fuel. If you want your car to run, you got to fill it with gas. If you want your lungs to breathe, you got to fill it up with oxygen. Get the drift? So when you're pulling a lot of foods out and you're not supplying the things that your detox factory needs, it's not going to run. And darn it, when we don't have a good factory, we start to store those suckers in our body fat. It reduces our energy. So for a lot of people, when they do these radical, unhealthy types of cleanses that are very, very popular, they feel better initially, but then when they start to add in those foods and they go back to their old diet, guess what? Those symptoms come right back. It might take a month or two, but they're right back. And then what really is frustrating is on these cleanses, you've done the time, you paid the price, you're feeling better, your weight's dropping, you're like, hey, it's happening. You add those foods back in, your body fat goes back up. So when you're losing weight on these cleanses, guess what, my friend? You're not losing body fat, you're losing muscle. You're forcing your body to cannibalize itself. You're snacking on your own body. Ew, that doesn't sound good. No, we don't want that. Because when our muscle mass goes down, our body fat goes up. But the number on the scale might be going down. So psychologically, we're like, oh, I'm losing weight. The scale says so. But that's where working with someone who really understands how to do these things safely and correctly are really important, because you're fooling yourself. And I don't want you to do that. And you're setting yourself up for harm's way. So one of the things that we want you to do is first be able to identify, are some of the things that I'm experiencing possibly due to toxicity? So what I want you to do is click on the link below and download this toxicity symptom survey. Now in this survey, I'm asking you a ton of questions and I want you to rate each symptom, and there's a scorecard at the end, and I want you to tell me what your score is. I'm going to post my personal score of when I was feeling my worst and how I'm feeling today. And I want you to do the same. And I also want you to post if there's one symptom that you potentially could get rid of, what would that be? Would it be the fatigue? Would it be the headaches? Would it be the PMS? What would it be for you? And as you post that information and any questions you have, I will personally be responding to those. So check out my numbers. I'm not shy. I'm pretty open about my health. And you post yours. Ask any of those questions, but make sure you get your toxicity symptoms survey. And in the meantime, make sure that you understand that we are in a toxic world, and we are going to figure out how to keep us healthy in this toxic world. Dr. Parsons, signing off.